Hi, everybody. I'm Ronnie.
Hi, and I'm Jenny, and we are
We are the Heart and Soul
the Heart and Soul
Sisters.
Sisters. I think we
No,
might have got that at the
no,
same.
no,
No,
no.
okay,
Trust me, we didn't. We just need to stop trying.
okay, yeah, you're right.
Or it's
I
just
know you're right.
evidence that hope springs eternal, right? We just never give up.
We just keep trying, man.
We just keep trying. Yeah.
That's all we
So,
can do.
so it's good to see you.
Good to
We
see you
are
too.
We are continuing in our series this season, season 2 of our podcast, in talking about people who've been influential, people whose ideas we've kind of tried to incorporate, and their things we've heard them say or we've read that they've written become little mantras for us or
Yes,
touch points for keeping us going in our lives. And so, who are we talking about today, Jen?
we are talking about Matt Kahn.
Yes, yes, we love Matt
Beautiful,
Kahn.
wonderful Matt Kahn. Yes,
And we
he's
were trying to
awesome.
we were trying to figure out in advance who was
Yeah,
it that
before we were
found
recording,
it,
we're like,
because
which one of us
how
found
did we
him?
how do we find Matt Kahn?
I don't.
I actually think it might have been my daughter who read
Yeah.
his book or heard about his book and said, "Oh, you have to read this." I think she got the
Yeah, we do
audio
that with each
version of it,
other.
maybe.
We do that
Yeah,
with each other. We
yeah.
pass
We've
books
pulled the
and
kids in the loop now, and so they're sending us
yeah,
good stuff. But yeah, so
yeah.
so the first book we read with Matt Kahn was "Whatever Arises, Love That." And so, Jenny, I know that when we talked about Dr. Kim, I was so excited I wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise. So I'm
That's
going
all
to step
right.
back metaphorically from the microphone and let you start about Matt Kahn this week.
Okay,
How's
thank
that?
you. I'm honored.
I'll fill in. I'll just fill in
So
around the
yeah,
edges.
yeah. Feel free, right? Fill in wherever just jump in, Ronnie. So Matt Kahn just really spoke to my heart, and I know I've talked about many times. As a little girl, I just wanted to love everybody and everything. And I still there's that little girl inside me that just wants to love everybody. Just want everybody to get along. I want everybody to be happy, you know. And so Matt Kahn's book is talking about really just loving and accepting everything that is present, being and really being present, being focused on what is going on right now. And a few of the things that he says in his books, that you deserve more love, not less. No matter what is going on in the moment, no matter how horrible of a failure you may think you are in this particular moment, or, oh, I really let myself down, or I let my loved ones down, or I'm really ashamed that I gave in to my anger, or whatever it is in that moment, even when you're, you know, experiencing your shadow self or your
Yeah.
failings, that's okay, because whatever is present, that that person, that presence, that all of who you are deserves more love, not less. And so I just really hung on to that phrase, because we tend
Mm-hmm.
to, I think, look for our, oh, this is what makes me a good person. And when I do this for this person, or I give, or or I excel at this, or I'm smart enough, or I'm talented enough, or I'm a hard worker, or whatever it is, that's when I'm lovable, right? But that actually all parts of our who we are, our being, are lovable and deserve to be loved. And that that's a really beautiful thing, because as human beings, I think we tend to have a lot of conditions on our love. And if we're brought up with issues, that are unhealthy, with dynamics that are unhealthy, and that's certainly the case in an addicted home, in a home where there's abuse, um, there are a lot of conditions on, I will love you if you
Right.
are perfect. I will love you if you make me happy.
Meet
So
my
there's a lot of
needs.
that
Yeah.
externally motivated. I gotta prove, that I'm worthy to be loved. And Matt Kahn's books were just filled with, you deserve to be loved because you exist.
Right.
That's
It,
pretty huge.
yeah. It was for me. I mean, that's one of his phrases that I use often myself, is that especially for someone like me, right, a recovering perfectionist who, was really good at beating up on herself whenever she made a mistake. And of course, I made many of them. To stop in the moment and say, wait a minute, I deserve more love right now in this moment. It's the line we use with our kids a lot, right? They'll
Oh
reach out
yeah,
to
and
us
our
with
grandchildren.
on our text chain, right? And
Yes.
say, I feel terrible, I did this, I did that. And one of us will respond simply with, you deserve more love, not less, you know,
Yeah.
um, when you're at your
Yeah, we quote
most,
him all the time. We
yeah,
do.
when you're at your most defeated or most discouraged, that's the moment you especially need to be loved, right? That's not a moment to withdraw
Absolutely.
loving acceptance
Absolutely.
and approval. And yeah, yeah, that's a really a powerful um, statement of his, right?
It
Um,
is.
yeah. His other book is called Everything is Here to Help You. That's the other one that we've read, and that's again looking at kind of
Mind expanding.
flipping things around, right? Flipping around what we um, normally think, like especially something bad, right? Something we don't want, something is painful, happens to us. Our gut impulse is to go, why is this happening? What did
What
I
did I do to
do?
deserve
Right,
this?
right, exactly. And
Yeah.
instead seeing it as a gift. What is it that this has to show you? And what I love about this is it really connects nicely to Dr. Kim, right? How is this the best thing that could have ever happened to me, even when
Yeah.
I'm in the midst of despair? So a lot of these folks that we're drawn to are, at least part of what they're saying, there's a lot of similarities across them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we pick up on certain themes, and it helps to reinforce those messages, right? That
True.
these things are here to help us, or are opportunities to grow, to learn, and if we can just take a deep breath and recognize that. Um,
Yeah.
I should put this. We should have put this disclaimer out there right away when we started doing this. Is that in no way am I pretending to represent the full complexity and impact of any of these folks in terms of their
Oh, heck
ideas or what
no.
they have to say, but just the things that stick with me, right? Obviously, the things that resonate with me. But this idea that even when you get angry, that's your sense of justice or injustice showing, right? So it's a gift because it shows you where maybe you think you're not being treated well, and you have not, perhaps maybe that's because you haven't put down the boundaries you need to around that area, or maybe someone else is being treated unfairly, and for you it's a call to action to try to do something about that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a really nice way to frame things that we normally think of as problems, right? Like our anger, because we've talked about our anger, and
Right.
trying to uh, figure out what to do with it, and so that this represents another way to think about it. Well, maybe we're angry because there was a really good reason to be angry, and
Yeah.
let's look at what that is. So the anger may be a message, not just something to be tamped down or managed
Or
or
ignored.
whatever, or ignored,
Or
right?
denied. Yeah, because that's that shadow self, or that you think of it in that way, is it's a negative thing. It's not a positive attribute. So I don't want to acknowledge that I get angry. I want to
Right,
pretend I don't get angry. Yeah,
right.
and it's calling something forth in you that needs your attention, that needs more love. Yeah. And so we were actually at Omega, and I can't what was it?
It was when we went for the animal communication
Animal
training,
communication,
I
is
think.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
the first weekend,
Hmm.
that's right. And so Matt Kahn was there, giving another, weekend seminar, because we were just there for the weekend seminar with
Right.
Danielle McKinnon. And I recognized him, of course, when we were in the little cafe there, getting our little tea and um,
Cookies. Don't forget
cookies.
the
Yeah,
cookies.
cookies. Oh yeah, yeah, cookies to go with the tea, of course.
Their baked goods are excellent
And
at Omega.
oh, they have just amazing stuff. So anyway,
We
we
digress.
yes, we digress. But and I kept looking at you saying, I want to go over and tell him how impactful his books have been for us, because we were already on, I think, on his second book at that point.
Hmm.
And I was like, he probably gets bombarded by people all the time. I really, and and after a while, I think you're the one who's like, go ahead, tell him, So I was like,
Oh,
okay,
sure,
I
blame
will.
me. Sure,
Yeah,
blame
well,
me.
well, I was the one sitting here talking about how grateful I was um, for us coming across his work, and how impactful it was. His books were for me. And anyway, so you're like, well, just tell him that. And so I did. I went up to him, and of course I'm getting all verklempt. So I'm talking to him, telling him, I'm sure you get stopped a lot, but I just want to tell you how grateful I am for sharing your work with the world, and how much it's impacted my life and my children. And I said, I'm just very, very grateful. And he just said something very loving and kind, and
He,
just, I am so, he said, I'm so grateful that you came up to talk to me. And just, he said, I'm very humbled that that this has been so impactful for you. And I'm just, it was just really lovely. Just
he's a
very lovely
radiant
person.
being. I mean,
He
just
is.
being in his presence is just really a sweet, gentle, loving soul. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So that was just a really lovely meeting.
It was a
And
nice gift.
he just radiates love. So if you haven't heard of Matt Kahn, his last name is spelled Kahn. If you
Hmm.
haven't heard him, any of his, he releases a lot of videos for free on like
Yeah,
Facebook, and he
YouTube.
does like global. He just had one the other day. You were able to make it.
Yep.
I had my family, some of my kids were visiting, so I was not able to attend it. But then he will put these little hour and a half seminars up for people to listen to for free. He's just a very generous and loving soul, and just
Hmm.
has some wonderful, inspiring things. Just talking about connecting with the divine, God, however you want to envision that, and connecting with love and being love, and it just really is lovely.
It is. Well, it just as you were talking, it occurred to me there's one other nugget from the first book that I really love and that I put into practice myself, where he says, you mentioned earlier, Jenny, this idea that we have this idea of how we need to be in the world in order to be lovable, in order to be acceptable, right? I have to be giving, I
Right.
have to be generous, I have to be kind, I have to be loving, I have to be all these things. And as human beings, or maybe I'll just speak for myself, as this human being is not able to be those things all the time. And so
Not
one of
100% of the time.
no, not 100%, I gotta say. I really
You're
have
not
tried
alone.
to. I really have tried to, God knows. Um, but but so he talks about in that first book, whatever arises, love that you meet everything with love, literally everything with love. And so maybe you do something and you fall short and you say, okay, I deserve more love, not less. Maybe you know what the right thing to do is, right? What the evolved person would do, and you can't bring yourself to do it. I can't bring myself to forgive them. I can't bring myself to forget what they did to me. I can't, whatever it is. There's something, you can feel it. There's a block. I'm not ready. I'm not
Yeah.
capable of doing it. Say, okay, then love the one who is not capable of forgiving right now. And
Yeah.
it's just as simple as saying, okay, I'm not able to do this. I'd like to do this. I feel sort of like this is the right thing to do, but I'm not able to do it right now. Okay, I send love to the one who is not able to do this right now.
Yeah.
All right, I send love to the one who's not able to forgive, who is not able to, who's not open to seeing this person, or whatever it is you think you should be doing. And that to me has been really powerful. So
Yeah.
and it's like and it's usually like coming from a place of judgment okay, I should be doing this, but
Right.
I'm not, or I'm not able to for whatever reason. And so then it kind of, it wipes away that judgment. It's like, okay, in the same vein as you deserve more love, not less, when you fail or to meet your standard of, what you think you should do. Um, that to me has been really helpful too. Okay, I love
Yeah.
the one who's still angry right now and not able to let that go,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
And I'm also trying to, externalize that to others. There are certain people that just hit my hot buttons. And don't you know, it's people that are similar to those who have wounded us from the past, right?
Right.
So especially when I'm around narcissistic personalities, you know them, they know it
Hmm.
all. They read a book and they're suddenly an expert on the topic, um, and know more than somebody who has a PhD in that subject. I mean,
Right. Right.
there's just, we all know them. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're people we work with or come across, or sometimes they're people in our family or whatever.
Right.
And and when those people start setting me off, it's funny, the first thing I say is, you deserve more love, not less. As I'm sitting there trying to, okay, I need to not judge this person, but
Right.
even though they're hitting all my hot buttons, right?
Right.
Um, and just so it's helping me to be more okay. I accept you for where you're at and send you light and love. That doesn't mean I got to hang out with you.
Right. Right. Right.
Doesn't mean we have to be best friends. but
Right.
but when I do come in contact with you, I'm I'm accepting you where you're at, and I just need to have healthy boundaries for whatever it is that makes me feel comfortable or safe, right? So if that means this is a family member and I might run into them, whatever, I'm going to keep my time around them. I'm going to limit it.
Right.
so
Right.
it, and you just do what you need to do to and accept that they deserve more love, not less, and so do I.
Right.
and that
Exactly.
and that's okay.
Yep.
Do what you have to do to love yourself too and take
Yeah.
care of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
In that same vein, another thing I'm reminded of, he talks about is that sort of encourages people. Says, you can say the things to yourself that you always wanted to hear.
yes.
Right? You can say whether it wasn't your fault, you didn't deserve
Yeah.
it, you're a beautiful person, you are lovable, you are good enough just the way you are, right? I mean, it kind of goes back to that inner child and the things that as kids maybe we didn't hear that we needed to.
Mhm.
And of course, that inner child is always with us, right? Uh, we always have opportunities to parent or reparent that inner child. And
Yes.
that's been helpful for me too at times, is to feel like, okay, I am in this moment, like I feel like a wounded 5-year-old. I recognize that that's kind of the emotion I'm sitting in, and try to tune in and say, okay, what does my 5-year-old child want to hear? Right? What
Yeah.
is it I needed to hear then, or I just need to hear now? And so thinking of it in those terms, right? And we're all used to this idea of positive self-talk, right? To say, to not run ourselves down, but to boost ourselves up. But to me, it feels like another dimension to say, okay, what's happening now is probably rooted in something that happened a long time ago, and that I'm still being upset, or I'm still in this behavior pattern that's not working well for me because some need that wasn't met in the past. And so can I tune
Yeah.
into that and figure out what it is I needed to hear whenever it was, right? I don't have to know. I don't have to figure out exactly what it is, but can I tune into the feeling? What did I need to hear? What am I feeling now? What would have helped me with that feeling in the past? What will help me with that feeling now? I can say it. I don't have to wait for somebody else. So that's really
Yeah.
empowering.
It
So
is.
it's encouraging me to be in tune with myself, but also encouraging me to take care of myself, which I like.
Hmm.
I really like.
Yeah. So we love you, Matt Kahn.
We do. There are lots more nuggets in there. We as we said, we're
Way
not
more.
gonna, yeah, we're not gonna we're not going to rob you of the joy of discovering them yourself. We just wanted to
Right.
share with kind of breadcrumbs, right? We're throwing out breadcrumbs of things that we've,
Yeah.
and you may find different things in there, right? You may find that the same things
That
resonate
speak to
with
you.
you. You may find different things that speak to you. And of course, I've still got his books. I have both a hard copy and an audio version because I listened to him first and I thought, I want to go back and read it and make some notes. And
Yes.
so I've
Yeah.
still, I recently had a big move and I purged like 95% of the books maybe that I've owned over the course of my lifetime. But the ones that we're talking about in these podcasts we're doing this season, these are the ones I still own that I will
Yes.
go back and read again. So
Yeah, I go back and reread books because there's always more. There's so much more. I think you absorb what you're ready to absorb at the time. Just like
yes.
Dr. Kim's, tool book that we talked about last time. I mean, I think it's time for me to go back and reread it, and the same with Matt Kahn's books because it's been a couple years now, So,
Right.
and
Right.
I'm sure that I'm in a different place now than I was a few years ago. So there's probably more pearls of wisdom that are going to sink in, the
Yes.
second time around.
Always more available. Just
That's
hold
right.
out your hand.
Oh,
Alrighty. So yes, we do love Matt Kahn, and we do encourage you to, if anything here that we've talked about resonates with you, um, he, like I said, both audio and the book are available. So check them out. And
yes.
if you do, let us know what you think.
Oh,
Right?
we'd
We'd
love to
love
hear
to
from you. Yeah.
have your
Hmm.
feedback. So, but until then, we're wishing you so much love, so much light.
And so many, many blessings.
Be well.
Bye.